What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Lifestyle Architects. Today we have Charles and Joe on the show. He's a true affiliate marketing rock star who has been able to earn millions of dollars in profit in internet marketing. It's allowed him to design a lifestyle of freedom and constant travel. So today we are going to dive in deep into his story, mindset, what made him successful, and also some stuff on personal branding and where you're taking your very successful blog as well. So warm welcome to the show, Charles.
Hey Naveed, thanks for having me. So I've actually listened to a few of your podcasts and I like it. So it's great that I'm actually on it.
Thanks so much. And I think we have a lot of mutual friends, and that's kind of how I found out about you in the first place. Jesse Krieger is one. I interviewed him on the show recently. Probably when this airs, it will be live and his book launch and all that good stuff. So
Yeah, so it's interesting because I've known of you for I don't know maybe a year and you known of me, but this is actually the first time we're talking to each other.
definitely.
So interesting interview.
Yeah, I mean you're this like different guest that I normally have because you're an affiliate marketer, so we could speak about this, but I'm more interested in your story and how you got to this point because you're very successful for a young age. You are 29 now, I believe.
I'm 29. Yeah,
Yeah, so let's
a
get into this a
little
little bit and
younger.
talk a bit about your story, how you got started, and how you got into kind of internet marketing and all this stuff.
Sure. So my journey began around college age, like 23 or so. So I went to Georgia Tech, and by the time I was 23, I was about to graduate with a marketing degree, and I still didn't know what I wanted to do in my life. So most of my friends they had great plans, like they had internships, they had jobs lined up, they were going to go to medical school or graduate school, and here I am, like, what am I going to do in my life? So at this point, I read a lot of books. I was motivated, but I had absolutely no idea what I wanted to do. And then a situation happened where for my birthday, I want to get myself a camera. And I went on a few websites like Fat Wallet, Slick Deals. I was able to find a camera for maybe $150, like after price matching, discounts, and all that. So a $300 camera for $150. Now, most people would be happy with just a $150 camera, like, wow, I got a great deal, and move on with their life. But for me, I thought to myself, how much can I sell this for? So I went on eBay and I saw this camera. I could have sold it for $270. And that was like a $120 profit. So what I did next, I maxed out my credit card and I bought about $4,000 worth. And I did about, I don't know how much profit that is, like 1,500 profit in 2 hours of work. I went to every single Staples in Atlanta. And from there on, I was hooked on this eBay arbitrage. So I would go online, go to websites like Fat Wallet, Slick Deals, find items for cheap, and I would flip it on eBay. And the beauty of my system was I couldn't lose money. It was impossible to lose money because I could research eBay to see how much this sold for last night. And if for some reason I couldn't sell this, I could just return it back to the shop for a 100% refund. So from there, I saved up some money, and then by the time I graduated, I still, it was good money, but I can't make a living off of doing that. It was great money for a 23-year-old. And, at that time, eventually I got banned from eBay for whatever reason. eBay, PayPal, very strict. I got banned, and I decided, look, I really like making money on the internet. So I started searching, and it wasn't too easy. I didn't know anybody doing it. So for every great leader, a great person that could teach you internet marketing, there's maybe 100 guys that are trying to scam you. So I just kept reading, kept doing. I got a job after graduating where I worked for a marketing agency, and I started helping out with the PPC for Fortune 50 company. And from there, I started learning PPC. I figured out affiliate marketing, and after 6 months, I started making more money on the side than my real job. And I quit after 6 months. By that time, after 6 months, I was making 10,000 a month profit, but I was only making like 2,500 at my job. So it was an easy decision to quit my job. And what sucks is a month after I quit my job, my income went to nothing. So that's an
Wow.
interesting lesson. Business can be very
Hmm.
up and down. So I went through this really bad phase of my life. I was playing video games. I was drinking. I was embarrassed. Like, you're telling everybody's congratulating you that you just quit your job and you're a businessman. But in actuality, I was making no money. Like everything crashed. So I decided to just step it up. And then after a month later, I started making a lot of money. And within my first year of discovering the industry, I made over 1 million in profit. And
Wow.
I've been doing this ever since. So
Hmm.
what I try to tell people is the best part about my industry isn't the money, it's the freedom. So it's been 5 years and I've been traveling and doing some really cool stuff because of my industry. So I'm kind of going through the next phase of my life now where I've been doing this for 5, 6 years. I'm getting a little bit bored. So I've been working on building my brand and I'm going to start training people and teaching people.
Yeah, I mean, what I find interesting as well, you had a job. Did you find the job useful for what you're doing now? A little bit, since you must have found the PPC and all that stuff you did for that company helpful when you started on your own.
Absolutely. Because the company taught me a few things. One, I'm really good at Excel, pivot tables, everything because of that company. Second is I feel I'm really good at being social or politics. Like I have employees and I treat them very well. Part of it is because I was an employee myself. So when you've been an employee, you've had a boss, you can kind of relate to your own employees. Um, but for the most part, there was some overlap, but everything I learned about affiliate marketing was more self-taught. Because there was overlap, but it wasn't complete overlap. Because working with an agency, it's branding based, so they're not as concerned about performance. Whereas for me, I'm putting my own money to on the line for these campaigns.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. Did you have the drive to do? Was it the freedom that drew you in the beginning, or what were you passionate about the topic you were getting into, or the process, or how did you discover that?
First off, I was not passionate about the whole marketing or the process at all in the beginning. I looked this as a means to an end. So for me, I had a big epiphany when I was 23. I realized, look, at 23, I'm not going to be a doctor. I'm not going to be a famous rock star. I'm not going to be a celebrity. Yet, I wanted this lifestyle where I could make money and travel the world. So this internet marketing thing, I thought to myself, this is my last chance at making this work. So for me, what separated me from a lot of other guys is they're impatient. They think, man, if this doesn't work within 3 months, it's a scam. If I can't make money within a year, I got to quit and do something else. For me, I thought to myself, I will do this for the rest of my life until I get it.
That's powerful, and that's kind of my mindset as well. It's like patience. It's like a marathon. It's not a sprint we're in. We're in this for the long run. I mean, you wanted to create more freedom for yourself, so now you can even focus more on your personal brand because you set yourself up. You can travel. You have designed your life and all this. So, did you think that's what separates like kind of high performers, high achievers from other people that don't succeed in this industry, or especially for entrepreneurs, what's some common traits you've seen, especially since you hang out with a lot of successful people?
Sure. Well, this is a very broad topic because there's so many books and theories on success, and I
Yeah.
have many theories. So, some of the top ones I've seen between myself and other very successful guys I know, the biggest one is read. Like, it's so simple, but guys that read a lot tend to be more successful. And for me, it's simple. We're in this age where, um, crap, where's my iPad? Anyways, my iPad's in the room. But on the iPad, for $10, I can instantly download a book, and within a few hours, I have someone's knowledge that took him 10 years to research, or maybe a lifetime to research. So I like to think of myself as. Have you ever seen the show Silent Heroes?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
So do you remember season one, Siler? There's like this bad guy. He steals other people's powers. So that's how I think of myself when it comes to reading. If I want to learn about productivity, I'll read a book getting things done. If I want to learn about the brain, I can read brain rules. I want to learn about business systems or competition. I can read Michael Porter. So for me, I'm addicted to reading because
Yeah.
I'm learning so much from other people for just $10 or $15.
Yeah.
So that's the first trait. Read a lot. I read every single day. Second is, if you want to, this is kind of hard to convey, but I noticed the guys that are really successful will specialize in something, yet they are good at everything else. So it's a combination of specialization and jack of all trades. For instance, I specialize in affiliate marketing, yet I'm pretty decent at many other skills. So there are many affiliate marketers out there, some as good as me, some are even better than me. But how many of them also speak, podcasts, write, uh, social, and know business? Like it's very powerful when you can combine various skills. So for me, I like to think of it as don't have any weaknesses in your life. Like try to get good at everything, yet master something. Um, another thing I noticed is what I call people skills because I know a lot of guys that are very smart. They work hard, but they don't have a lot of people or social skills. So how people skills help me is networking, where I like to network with other guys and I like to share information. I like to mastermind and stuff. So, being really good with people helps you meet awesome people and negotiate and develop your social network. And the last one is, I guess, probably the idea of not wasting a single day. So for me, in over 10 years, I have never had a day I quote unquote wasted. So every day I'm reading, every day I'm working, every day I'm moving towards my goals. So you'll see some people that will be super motivated December 31st, January 1st, January 2nd, and then after a few days they lose their motivation.
Yeah.
For me, I'm just as motivated on May 22nd as I am on January 1st. So it's consistency. I'm very,
Yeah.
very consistent.
Yeah, but there's a lot of things that came out of this, especially with the reading. Personally, I probably didn't read a single book before the age of 25, 26 because I really wanted it. I read, but it was mostly in school and stuff like that. You had to read in law school. They kind of gave us all the books, and I didn't have time to do other stuff. Then when I came into personal development, that's when I really started to read and find all these books you've been telling me about, like how to win friends and influence people, like Think and Grow Rich. All these books came to my mind, and I started to get this addiction and really learn outside of the classroom, and that's where we grow. And other people that's not very successful, I think that's true. It has totally transformed my business and life, reading a lot. And I know it has for you and a lot of other people as well.
It's like a healthy body. You feed your body junk food, your body's gonna turn to mush. And your mind's the same way, where what are you feeding your mind? So for me, some guys might feed their mind with TMZ.com, reality shows, people that are destructive. So for me, I just feed my mind. I make sure, only good stuff goes into my mind, good people, good energy, good feelings.
Yeah, and another thing is that, as you said, reading, you can position yourself as an expert. You can learn about the topic. Maybe you are not an expert when you start, but you're reading so much about maybe branding, whatever you want to become an expert in, and you become so good that you separate yourself from other people. Maybe putting yourself out there, have a blog, whatever you do. And it's also this with mastery you're telling me about, that having more skill sets is useful, but really mastering one specific one, like really, like you have done with affiliate marketing, and then have
Sure.
sub skills kind of. So,
Yep.
and so another thing we can get into here is the goal setting part. As you were talking a little bit about this as well. How do you set goals that you can actually achieve? You were telling me that kind of in the beginning of the year, a lot of people have these maybe resolutions or goals, and they never really accomplish them. Maybe they stick to it for 2 months.
So I had a big change in my goal system a year ago that has really improved my life. So for me, I'm always constantly learning, always constantly evolving. So my latest goal setting is, when I first started in the industry, most guys have their goals are quite simple. I want this car within 1 year. I want to lose this many pounds within 6 months. So I've switched instead to a system-based goal setting, which was inspired by the book How to Fail at Everything and Still Succeed by Scott Adams. I'm not sure that's the exact title, but he preaches a system-based goal setting. So let me give you an example. I'm not trying to lose weight. I've been trying to gain weight for a long time now. So gain weight, gain muscle. So I don't have any goals. Like I don't want to be 10 pounds heavier in a year. My goal is very simple. Work out 4 times a week. I have to eat this many calories. Like I'm following lean gains right now. So I have to eat this many calories. I have to drink this much water and I have to sleep this much every single night. So my goal is not some big goal of gain 10 pounds in 1 year. My goal is to follow my system every single day, every single week, every single month. So with me, every time I lift weights or hit my calorie requirements, I accomplish my goal. So something I noticed about motivation is motivation comes from small wins. So I believe in focusing on little wins and they add up over time. So that's a big epiphany for me. The goal setting where I'm very system based. I work every single day. The second big thing I do is what I call the 12-week year. Now this is actually a book and probably one of the best productivity books I've read. I don't know who the authors are. So 12-week year, and what they argue is instead of having a yearly goal like everyone else does, 2013, 2014, instead break your year into just 12 weeks. So what happens is May to March 31st is 1 year for me. So what that does is instead of thinking you have a year to accomplish your goal, you only have 3 months. And the other benefit is it keeps me agile because maybe the goal I set for January 1st is not the goal I still want May 22nd. So every 3 months, every quarter, I set new goals and I kind of keep things agile. So those are two
I think
two.
that's great, and I think as well with I mean, setting it up and breaking it up in 3 months. I mean that's powerful because it's like challenges. Why do we have 90-day fitness challenges? It works, you're maybe setting a specific goal and you have a date, a deadline, and you work hard every single day, show up, and then if you're doing the right things, you should get some kind of results after the 90 days or 12 weeks. So
Yeah, it's simple. It's
yeah,
like
it's
you read
quite powerful if you do it, but most people fail with that as well. When they are they have challenges, they want to accomplish something, but they still don't do it for some reason. I think it's like the mindset or
I think
whatever.
the simplest explanation I've seen for myself and other people is they set the bar too high. You know, look, you can't be a guy that's fat or a guy that's obese, and then the next day you're on this training program and magic diet plan. It doesn't
Yeah.
work that way because you have 29 years of bad habits. So for me, I just started a meditation challenge on my blog, where a 30-day meditation challenge aimed at people that have never meditated before. And some other meditation challenges will start people at 10 minutes a day. And from my experience, it's so difficult. If it's your very first time, you won't be able to keep it up. So instead, for the first week, I tell people meditate 2 minutes a day for 7 days, and then we increase it to 5 minutes. But the point is, what's more important? The most important thing is after 30 days, are you still doing the challenge? And that's what matters. So people try to come with this perfect plan. They're over ambitious, but instead, I follow the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen, just 1% improvement every single day.
That's great. I mean, that's actually great advice. And I mean, during the time you're having the goals, how do you stay focused throughout the day? Do you have any specific things you do to really stay like in the top of your mind every day and like get the most important stuff done?
Sure. So I'm actually pretty well known for my level of discipline.
Yeah.
Uh, so how that works is I want to make something very clear because people, they see me, I'm Asian, obviously, they think I was born. It's completely not true because even though I went to Georgia Tech, which is a very prestigious school, I was a complete slacker. I would do things, I would procrastinate, do things at the last minute. So I want to make it very clear that all my discipline, my productivity was developed from scratch, and it's not genetic or anything like that. So how do you focus? How do you stay disciplined throughout the day? Here's a theory I came up with that's very powerful. I don't care about the entire day. When I wake up 7 a.m. I don't think about the entire day. I only think about 7 a.m. to 12 p.m., 5 hours. So my first hour and a half is routines that are scientifically designed to start my day off correctly. So first thing I do, I wake up, I drink a lot of water. I drink like half of this. I drink a lot of water. That's because overnight your brain's dehydrated, so you need a lot of water. Next, obviously, I'll use the restroom, and then I have a dog back in America. So I don't think we mentioned this, but I'm actually traveling right now. I'm in Vietnam,
Yep.
Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. So back in America, I have a dog. I'll do some road work. I'll run for like 20 or 30 minutes, or yeah, I'll run. Um, I don't eat breakfast anymore because I'm doing lean gains. So after that, I'll meditate. I'll meditate for 10 minutes. I'll look at my goals for the day, my three most important tasks, which was set the night before. And then right when I'm ready to work, so obviously I'll need like 5 to 10 minutes to check my social media, but I'll set a timer on my phone, 10 minutes. So I'll just go crazy for 10 minutes. Because, I have a Twitter, my Facebook page. If you're trying to build a brand, you have to check it. And then after that, I get into my work where I'll do Pomodoros, 25-minute of working, zero distractions. If I check my phone or something, or I got interrupted, I have to start over. So I'll
Uh,
work, take a 5 minute break, work, take a 5 minute break, work, take a 5 minute break. My goal is to get so much done by lunchtime. And I actually got this from the richest man in Asia. His name is Li Ka-shing. They described him as this man gets more done by lunchtime than people do their entire day. So I thought to myself, how can I engineer my morning so I can get more done by 12 p.m. than anybody else? And here's something I noticed. Let's say I have a really productive morning. By the time it's 12 p.m., well, guess what? I have that momentum to drive myself for the rest of the day. And what's great is I could take like a 1 hour break for lunch, just go walk my dog, hang out, relax. And then no matter what happens after that, I accomplished a lot. I already accomplished a lot, and I have that momentum so that I could keep on working. But mentally, I just focus on the first 5 hours that I'm awake.
I think that's powerful. I mean, especially for me when I wake up early, maybe I go to the gym in the morning. I have some a set morning routine and getting my most important tasks done early. Then I have maybe if it's nice weather, I can spend the day outside like it is today, for example. That's what I want in the summer. It's hard to when we are working on our laptops, whatever. We have to
Yeah.
do our work, but if we do it early on, we can get by with our day and do other stuff, hang out with friends and go out, whatever we want to do.
So you mentioned something interesting to me. So here's a reason why I try to do so much in the morning. Is because the whole social life where people interrupt you in the afternoon, 3 p.m. Your friend wants to get some coffee, or 6 p.m. Your girlfriend or a chick wants to
Exactly.
like meet you. It's hard to say no. So for me, I want to get everything done possible in the morning. So that way, if I get interrupted or whatever, I can go without feeling guilty. I've already done a lot of work.
Yeah, that definitely. I mean, if someone is struggling with this, how can they like develop this? It's like, I mean, for you, you probably worked on this many years, right? I mean, to really develop this habit of doing it. And how can someone who's maybe waking up late and they want to get more work done, but they are struggling, what steps can they take to do this?
We have to go back to the Japanese philosophy of Kaizen,
Mm-hmm.
baby steps. So if you are a complete slacker, then first off, tell yourself it's okay. It's okay to suck because you're brand new. You don't have the neural connections in your brain yet. You don't have the habits formed. So, for instance, if you wake up at 9 a.m., wake up at 8:45 a.m. A lot of this comes from Zen habits too. I love his
Mm-hmm.
blog. So,
Yeah.
8:45, and then you slow it down to 8:30, and then 8:15. Okay, so you start adding in one habit at a time. So notice I mentioned 6 or 7 habits that I do. Do not copy what I do because it's not meant for you.
Exactly. Yeah.
Just do. The first step is probably get an Excel sheet and just be honest with yourself. What do I actually do each day? And then you eliminate one thing and you add another thing. So, for instance, if you spend an hour each morning checking social media, well, first thing you would have to do is lower it down to 30 minutes, then lower it down to 20 minutes. And then you need to perhaps add a habit like meditation, but instead of doing 10 minutes, just do it 2 minutes. So realize I've been working at my routines for over half a decade. You just can't. Maybe you can copy me and follow it for like 2, 3 days, but your habit connections are not strong enough. Just start slow. What matters is where are you after a year? It's not where are you after 1, 2 days. It's where are you after a year? Can you keep it up?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And have you found that kind of working out and doing more fitness has also helped your maybe the productivity and the work you do on a daily basis?
Yeah, working out is a very important part of my life. Let me just flex a little bit to show that I do work out.
Wow. Come on.
So,
Yeah, for the
so,
viewers, they can check it out, you know.
so for me, how I started working out was, you know, I was a very small guy growing up. When I graduated high school, I was 110 pounds. I know you're Swedish, so you're doing the metric system. I can't convert it, but I was 110
Yeah.
pounds, which is very small. My girlfriend in high school weighed more than me, and she wasn't fat, you know. So I was a very small guy, and one day I was getting ready to go to college from high school, and I realized, you know what, I don't want to have regrets anymore. So I decided to just work out, and I gained 30 pounds my first year when I was 18 years old. So that was a pivotal moment in my life where I thought my whole life I was destined to be skinny. I thought it was genetic. And when I broke that mental barrier in my mind that I could achieve this, that really opened my mind that I could achieve anything. So for the past, yeah, I work out four times a week, and it's very important for guys like us because we're at home all the time working on our laptops. We're not very social, unfortunately. So going to the gym is great to see my gym friends. It's great to see other people. And I'm also very science based. So what that means is once I read that exercise actually makes you smarter and there's all the benefits, why not? So what really helped me was I don't work out to look good or look more aesthetic. I work out to make more money. So when I framed it that way, because I have a girlfriend, I don't really care how I look, as much. But when it comes to making money, okay, if I work out, I have to do leg day because it's gonna make me more money. When I put it in that frame, I never miss a workout.
Very powerful, actually. I mean, I haven't thought about it in this way, but it's true. I mean, even Richard Branson says that it's the best productivity tip he can give. I mean, for everyone, I think it's true. Like, you feel better when you're working out and you're healthy, and of course, it's gonna improve your business and overall life as well.
Then there's also that mental fortitude you develop of you're setting goals and you're beating goals because I do a lot of strength training, and second is it pushes the edge of what you know you're capable of. So for instance, if um, I hate training with this one friend because he always pushes me so hard. So I think I can do six, and then when I finish six, I think I'm gonna put it back up. But then he starts calling me names and telling me to push that extra rep. I think I can't do it, and then when I do it, it's like wow, I start thinking I can achieve more and more.
But yeah, but definitely, and it's also like you can get more results in less time as well. Kind of comes back to this kind of the work you do. You're trying to get more done in less time, and have more time with your friends, family, whatever you want to do. And
Sure.
what's your take on kind of learning and mastering new skills? I recently had an interview with Robert Greene, but I'm also interested. What's your take on this? How do you learn new things efficiently?
So learning. Okay, there are a few books I can recommend. First one is obvious, Robert Greene Mastery. I
Yeah.
did read that book. Second one, I like The Art of Learning by Josh Watkins. Third, I really like The Talent Code.
The
I don't know
talent
if you
code
know.
is great. I recently discovered that. Yeah.
It's very good. And for blogs, there's this one blog, Study Hacks by Cal Newport, I believe. That's very good. So how do you learn things in the fastest amount of time? One technique that's very popular is deliberate practice, where you break your practice down into specific areas. So if you've never heard this before, the easiest way to analogy that's I can think of is learning how to play piano, where a lot of great piano players only practice 2 to 3 hours a day instead of 8 hours a day. So how do you get that good only 2 to 3 hours a day? Most people when they practice, they would just kind of play the song over and over again. Deliberate practice means you figure out what part of the song you're having troubles with and you keep practicing that one area so you get used to failure.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're, let's say you're a tennis player and I don't play tennis, so that's just an example. Let's say you're a tennis player and you have a coach who identified a specific weakness, like your backhand, backswing, or whatever is very weak. You could spend 2, 3 hours a day just working on nothing but your backhand, your backswing. So to learn faster, that's one thing. So as an affiliate marketer, I actually applied this to my own business where when I first started out, I didn't know how to write ads. I didn't know anything about copywriting. So I really dove deep. I learned copywriting. I read so many books. I observed other copywriters. When it came to testing out my campaigns, I just focused on the headlines and the ads. And by focusing on that, I got really good. And then I identified other areas of my life, of my business, that weren't so good. For instance, I wasn't really good at analyzing data, so I focused on that. So as opposed to other guys that just kind of work every single day, I have specific strategies and specific goals I want to do. And then one more tip for learning skills is probably who are you learning it from? So that makes a huge difference. If you want to learn affiliate marketing and you learn it from me, that makes a big difference over like a random scammy guy.
Definitely.
So what's great about networking is if I want to learn something, I know someone that's really good at a certain skill, or I know someone that knows someone. And of course, books. So you got to find the right learning material, because if you learn from the wrong, you pick up a bad habit or you have information, it's wasted time.
I mean, that's interesting because when you said that you kind of went from the first year in affiliate marketing, you went from kind of nothing, you didn't know a lot about the industry, to
Yep.
making $1 million in profit. And
Yep.
it's not possible to do that unless you have a very maybe systemized process how you learn things, because there's a lot of things
Yep.
to learn. You're starting from scratch. Maybe you can tell us a bit about the process. Well, did you start with like the copywriting thing? What did you find was the most important things that you focused on that made you so successful in that sense, so in such a short amount of time?
So honestly, a lot of it was luck, where I somehow found the right thing and I was able to leverage it and explore it and exploit it. But if we're talking about process, one thing that really helped was focusing on my connections and my networking in the beginning, where I had a 9 to 5 job, but there was a business conference. So I took a week off from my job to fly to that business conference, and I spent my own money. And from there, I met the right people who helped me out and gave me advice that shaved off like months and even years off my time. So I focus a lot on networking. Second is, yeah, I focus on different areas. So I was able to like break it down. I have to write ads, I have to do landing pages and stuff. I have to know enough technical stuff. So I taught myself basic programming because I didn't have the money to outsource, and outsourcing wasn't really that popular 6 years ago. Not like it is now. So for me, a lot of it was luck, where I was at the right place, right time with the right market. But at the same time, I was able to be in a position to take advantage of that luck.
I mean, that's great. Actually, that's great to break it down into smaller parts and
Yep.
focus on the right things. We are. I mean, I think Nick Reese, he had an interesting post recently on his site. He wrote about the entrepreneurial luck. I mean, we can get lucky if you focus on the right things. You actually created your own luck. Basically, you
Sure.
surrounded yourself with the right people. And what would you say to people? Maybe they are struggling to find the right people to surround themselves with. What can they do? Maybe they don't live in a big city, whatever. What's some best practices for them?
So that's a very interesting question, because I get at least 10, 15 emails a day asking people asking me to mentor them or teach them, and
Yeah.
most of the time I say no, because I only have 24 hours in a day,
Yeah, and
and
your
my
fee, I mean, your rate is very high as well. I checked. We're getting into this as well with the premium positioning and how you've done it, but we can go on.
so for me, um, well, I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought. What's the
Oh,
question again?
sorry. But basically, how you can meet other people, surround yourself
Much.
with the right mentors,
So
friends.
here's a really good advice. Let's say you want to uh, learn a skill from someone in your industry. The problem with most guys is they want to go for the very top or go for the very best. For instance, you want to learn affiliate marketing, you'll go for me, or you want to learn um, basketball, you might want to learn from Michael Jordan, or you want to learn golf from Tiger Woods. The fact is, they're too busy. They're just too busy to teach you. And just because they're the best at that field doesn't mean they're the best teacher. So, for instance, if you want to learn basketball, why not go to the local basketball coach at your high school? He could teach you. He could maybe teach you better than LeBron James or Michael Jordan. You don't know. So, second thing is, let's say you do want to learn from someone. You have to think of it from their perspective, because a lot of people think, "What's in it for me? Me, 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 me." They don't know who you are. You know, it takes a lot of time and effort to help someone, and most of the time they don't even implement it. So my suggestion is you have to think, how can I? What's in it for that guy? How can I help them? So let me give you an example. I get many people asking me for help that I unfortunately I just have to turn down because I have limited time, and I just rather do a podcast or do a blog post because that reaches a lot of people. So my recommendation is, look, if you have any skill or you can help them out in any way, offer your services for advice. So that's exactly what one guy did. He is a programmer. He offered to program a few hours a week for me in exchange for some advice. And for me, if someone helps me out, I'm going to help them out 10 times more. I hate the feeling of owing somebody. So this guy, yeah, he programs for me. I don't need too much programming, but he programs for me like 6 hours a week, helping out with my WordPress and some other stuff. In exchange, whatever questions he has, I'll answer it honestly. And he makes money now from my advice. And what's interesting is he's earning a full-time income, yet he's still doing free work for me because he doesn't want to lose that
Exactly.
connection.
I mean that's fantastic advice, and I think a lot of people they struggle with this. How can I offer advice to someone who's much more successful than I am when I'm starting out? That's kind of I get a lot of questions as well about this because I started like this. I kind of built my brand by association, surrounding myself with a lot of great people. I've done this extremely well, but people are coming to me like, how did you reach out to Robert Greene? How did you reach out to all these people? And what's interesting is that, normally I just ask. Maybe I have some social proof now. I've interviewed some entrepreneurs, but it's just about asking and seeing what works. If I want some mentoring or maybe I need something, then I would try to maybe offer advice, comment on their blog, like really try to become friends with them before I reach out to them.
That's a really good point. I wanna emphasize. Let's say you have no leverage, you have no skills. Let's say you have no skills, you have nothing you can offer me or other experts. One thing that will really help you is what I call just get on their radar. What I mean by that is post on their Facebook page, comment, like, share, tweet at them whenever they have a question. Basically, help them promote themselves. But the idea is, look, I get so many questions a day, but if I recognize you. You're always liking my stuff. You're always retweeting me. You're
Exactly.
always talking on Twitter. You're not a random guy. You're my friend now. Even though you can't offer me anything, the fact is I want to help you out. So it's like a friendship. You just have to build it and ping it along the way. So if you just met a guy in real life, are you just gonna ask? Okay, let's say you meet a investment banker. Are you just gonna be like, hey man, can you teach me all this? He doesn't know you. Why would he? But if you are friends with him, you built it up over half a year, then yeah, he can start giving you advice here and there. So most people, it's like they take a girl out on a date and they're trying to like get in her pants like within the first hour.
Yeah.
You have to warm it up. You
Yeah,
have
yeah.
to take some time.
Definitely. I mean, that brings us into a little bit here how you can position yourself as an expert. Maybe you're starting out, you don't have any experience, whatever. What have you found? Like now you're focusing more on your personal brand than you did early on. Like I read your story on your site, but you can maybe tell the audience why you decided to focus on your brand. You're an affiliate marketer, you're very successful, and then you decided to start a blog, which takes a lot of time.
Yep, yep. So that's actually I get that question a lot because it doesn't logically it doesn't make sense. If
Mm-hmm.
you're making a lot of money, why would you create your own competition? Why would you waste time helping other people out when you could launch new businesses? So there's quite a few reasons. For me, I started my blog a year and a half ago, and part of the reason was no one was blogging anymore. No one was helping out the next generation of affiliate marketers. So for me, when I was coming up, I read so many blogs. There were so many blogs that helped me out. I felt this obligation or this duty to help out the next generation. So part of it was helping others out. And for me, I mean, at the end of the day, you have to have your own selfish reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I like the new challenge where I'm building all this stuff. I have all this knowledge, but I want to talk to people about it. And everyone's busy doing their own thing. So for me, I actually enjoy writing and helping other people. So it feels good to actually. I mean, I've had multiple people come up to me like saying, "I've changed their lives because of this post, or I connected the dots."
Mm-hmm.
And when I first started the blog, I had no goals. I just started just to write it. So now I'm, working on my personal branding. I'm going to launch some training in the future. That wasn't part of the initial plan. That just kind of happened along the way.
So you basically just started and like wrote and became your writing is really good. Yeah, I saw that it's improved over the years as well. Like you've been
Yeah.
blogging now for almost 2 years, right?
Year and a half,
Year
yeah.
and a half, yeah. And I mean, when you started, what was your challenges in the beginning of kind of starting your blog and building your brand? And I mean, you had success, but you had to still build an audience.
Yeah, so when I first started, the hardest part is when you spend so much time, effort, and energy, and you write this amazing post you know is amazing, but no one comments on it. No one
Yes.
shares it. No one likes it. No one comments on it. And you think to yourself, oh man, F me. Like, geez, what am I doing this? What's the point if no one reads it? And what's funny is like now I can retweet or, share the same post I wrote when I first started and now get, oh man, this is so amazing. This is
Uh-huh.
so awesome. So this is a little off topic, but I just need to say this before I forget. Build your email list from day one. Like
Yeah.
that is the biggest mistake. My first year I didn't have an email list. Like I
Uh-huh.
just didn't know what am I going to do with an email list? Like what does it really do? If people want to
Exactly.
visit the blog, they'll go to charlesngl.com. But now I've been, I'm very email based focused, and that's because I had a big epiphany the other day where on on Twitter, I have 4,500 followers. I tweeted a link to an article. My open rate was 100 out of 4,500. So,
Wow.
that's 1 out of 40. Twitter's, absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
My open rate on the email, the same one, had a 56% open rate.
That's extremely high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's when I was like, why am I spending so much time on Twitter, and some other stuff when
Uh-huh.
like email. I need to focus on my email. And most bloggers and people that build personal brand, I mean, if you're brand new, you think to yourself, oh, it's all about Twitter, Instagram, social media, the
Uh-huh.
new and flashy stuff. Because email is it's old school. It's for the old people. It's not sexy. It's not
Yeah.
sexy at all. But people that really know about personal branding and building a blog know
Exactly.
everything email list.
Yeah, and social triggers. Derek Halpern says that if you're not building an email list, you're an idiot, and that's very true. You need to focus on it because Facebook, they can't shut down Twitter. Who knows what happens with that? But you own your email list. You have your email addresses, and you build your tribe. And I think that's what you're trying to say as well. That you wanted to build a community more, right? And not
Yeah.
just you have a nice community on your Facebook, Twitter, but if you have them on your email list as well, then you can reach out to them at any time and get a response and connect with them.
Yeah, the email list is actually more important than ever because I spend a lot of time on my Facebook page, more than anybody else I know.
Yeah.
Because I don't just post motivational quotes and link articles. I actually write unique thoughts twice a day. And what really bothered me is Facebook just completely destroyed the organic reach. Like,
Yeah.
last month or 2 months ago, where the reach is so low compared to before. And that's when I realized, Facebook completely, you're building an asset that Facebook owns and controls compared
Yeah.
to an email list that you have.
Yeah, definitely. And so is that part of your strategy moving forward to like build more of a community and then maybe offer something for you want to maybe offer something for sale in the future and teach other people to do the same what you have done?
Sure, sure. I forgot who said this, but the whole idea of marketing is just, find a hungry audience. So
Hmm.
I have a hungry audience, and there's not really too many people teaching this stuff. I mean, there are a few forums, private forums, but that's about it. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of opportunity for other ways to monetize, either online courses, in-person live
Yeah,
training.
events, as you're doing for free now, you're doing a tour in Asia and you're kind of speaking for free. So, I mean, you're
Yeah,
building your brand and authority even more, while doing this. So,
yeah, it's tough because most people when they start doing this is they want to see the immediate payout, payoff. For me, I've been well known in my industry for over 6 years now, and I don't really make money from it. But that's because I'm building towards the long run. Because if you want the premium positioning, the expert, you want to be the expert or the authority, it takes time to establish that. You just can't like start off the bat and post some screenshots and post some flashy stuff and start charging a
exactly.
lot of money.
Yeah, it takes
I mean,
time, right? Yeah.
yeah, some people can get away with that, but for me, I prefer to show my authority through knowledge, sharing knowledge, social proof where other companies are inviting me to speak, social proof where other people are saying, "Wow, Charles Ngo has really helped me out." It's the long way, but guess what? I'm thinking 5 to 10 years from now. It's the long way, the hard way, but it's probably going to be the most profitable way in the long run.
Yeah, because you haven't sold anything to your audience yet, and that's worth mentioning. You have had your blog for 1.5 years, and you
Yep.
have a pretty good audience. I mean, your
Yeah.
site is getting a lot of traffic, and your engagement on Facebook, Twitter, all this stuff. So you can sell to them probably and make a lot of money, but you're in this for a long run. So you're actually waiting for them. You're positioning yourself even more as the go. I mean, they know you are the go-to guy, but even more premium, I guess, as Nick Reese talked about in our recent podcast.
Yeah, I think it's like this. I gave this example on my blog a while back where the initial your image, your branding, the initial image and branding is so important because you're kind of stuck with it for life. And what I mean by that is, are you familiar with the handbag Coach?
I'm not
You know,
sure
it's
actually.
okay, well, I date a lot of Asian girls, so I know about. So Coach is about $300, okay, for a handbag. And when I think of it, is what younger girls like to use. So what if this company decided one day to compete against Chanel, Louis Vuitton, Hermes, and charge a $4,000 handbag? No one's going to buy it because their branding, their positioning is stuck at that level, at $300 level. So that's something I thought about where, if the longer I wait out and establish myself, then I could charge a premium price. And the thing with a premium price, I don't even know what I'm charging yet. I'm not even thinking about that. But the idea is it reflects everything you do, top to bottom, where even your ebooks can charge a higher quality. And for
Yeah.
me, like I'm thinking about the future.
No, definitely. I mean, I think that's very true. And I mean, you're especially when you're starting out and positioning yourself as an expert. I think that you can. I mean, everyone starts from the beginning. You did as well. You built your
Sure.
authority from scratch. And in this industry by getting a lot of success. So was that a reason why you didn't launch your blog earlier as well? That you wanted to come from a position of maybe more authority when you launched it as well? Like you could have launched a few years ago, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, I could have, but I would like to say that was my grand plan, but it honestly wasn't. I just didn't have time to do the blog, and that's because you know I I did the affiliate marketing, and then I traveled. So I did a whole lifestyle design where I traveled overseas. I lived in Thailand. I lived in Vietnam for about 3 years. So for me, I had a certain amount of time allocated for work, and the rest of the time, I just want to travel and have some fun. So instead, now over the past few years, I have 4 full-time employees. So that frees up more time for me to go for the blog, go for the personal branding. But
Definitely.
most people, I mean, you don't have to start off as an expert, because if you're a newbie, you can start a blog as a newbie and slowly document your journey until
Yeah.
one day you actually are an expert.
That's kind of
Um,
the process I went through. I followed, I don't know if you know about him, Sean Ogle as well, Location 180. He did kind of the same thing. He wasn't an expert by any means when he started, but he had a big goals. He wanted to keep himself accountable. Actually, that's one of the best ways to reach your goals, and writing it down and for other people to see it as well, I think. And that's what I found for myself at least. And like really writing about it and like reaching out to other people, it's an excuse to talk to very successful people by having a platform online. So
sure.
that's very powerful, at least for me. And then slowly, you build your own authority, and then you're getting clients and so on. But it's just like, as you said, it's not a sprint, it's a marathon we're in. So
Yeah, and something else that's interesting is a lot of people think about the time costs. Like, okay, you're spending 10 hours a week, you're not making any money, you're spending this much time, you're not, you could be doing something else. But I actually find that I'm more productive with the blog. I actually learn more with it because just because I have so many obligations in life, I don't have a lot of slack room. I don't have a lot of slack time. So I always have to bring my A game every single day. So with the blog, I have to write a post every single week. My Facebook page gets updated every twice a day. It's part of my systems. So when you have to do this, you have to manage employees, you have to work out, you have to read. There's not a lot of slack time. So I
yeah.
force myself to become super productive. And there are times when I don't have any obligations. I'm completely free. I end up not doing anything,
Yeah.
just video game surfing Reddit. So the more busy I find myself, the busier I am, the more I get done.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned here as well something very interesting and important is the power of having teams and building your team. I mean, when did you start outsourcing, and what has this done for your business, like outsourcing different tasks?
So it's been a weird journey for me. So I started with outsourcing when I first started 6 years ago. I didn't do too heavy into it because I didn't have the capital, but some things I didn't know how to program. So I had to hire someone to do some landing pages for me. So that's when I first fell in love with um, outsourcing virtual assistants. And then I actually had a real team in Atlanta. So I had a few employees, but I was young. I was like 24. Everything was blowing up so fast that I didn't really know how to manage a team. And that went really bad. Like, I would teach some people how to do this, and 2 months later, they would quit and run off and do their own thing. So when I traveled to Asia, did my whole living overseas thing, I went back into virtual assistants. And it wasn't until 4 months ago that I went back to having an in-house team. So the reason why is, managing my business, trying to take things to a level, the blog, and my personal life with self-improvement and everything. Even with the virtual assistant team, I was stretching myself too thin because there's limits to how much they can do compared to someone that's right next to you or someone you could look in the eyes and tell them what to do and review. So I started with a team again. So now I'm at the point where I actually have an in-house team and I have virtual assistants. So
Okay.
it's actually
That's interesting. So where do you find those people you have in-house, and maybe is it in your home city, Atlanta, or?
it's a interesting situation now where everyone right now is not in Atlanta. It's only
Okay.
me in Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
So we're kind of working remote. But I'm done with after like 1 month or 2 months, I get back to America where I'm having everyone move to Atlanta.
So you're
So
kind of
it's
having gathering there and kind of keeping up to
exactly.
date. Yeah.
So my goal is to train everybody for maybe 6 months or over a year. And once everyone's competent enough, then we're going to go back to lifestyle design where they can live anywhere they want. I can live anywhere they want. I don't care how much time you put in, just get the work done. I don't care
Yeah.
where you're at. I don't care how much time you put in. As long as the work gets done, you could be in Africa for all I care.
But
So
but did you do this when you started as well, or did you kind of go to talent platforms, or do you still do this, by the way? Go to talent platforms such as Elance, Odesk, when you?
So we have to separate things where for virtual assistants, I highly recommend Odesk. That's because, I mean, at the end of the day, the platform doesn't matter. It's about the people.
Exactly.
I like Odesk because they have the reviews, the filters. It's a nice design, so I use Odesk. For my in-house team, things are a little bit different. Let me explain. When I first started 5 years ago, most of my can you see me okay? It's like getting a little bit dark in here.
It's all right. It's a
Okay,
little,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, it's getting nighttime because I'm in Vietnam right now.
Yeah.
So the in-house team, my mistake a few years ago was I hired people that were smart and hardworking. So most people are like, "What? That doesn't make any sense. You hire someone that's smart and hardworking." Now that works if you're in a corporate environment where someone can't take your stuff and run away, because there's. But the problem with my business was there weren't that many barriers to entry. So instead, my team 2.0, I'm hiring people based on uh, I've known them for a while. I can trust them. Now, a lot of people are like, wait, how can you be so sure? How can you prevent them from running off? Nothing is guaranteed in life. It's you take a risk with the reward, and you have to do a risk reward analysis. And you just have to compensate fairly and be a good boss. So for me, this is a risk I'm taking, but um, it's paid off very well because now I don't have to do all the boring stuff I don't like doing. I can focus on my core strengths of networking, optimization, strategy, and they focus on the smaller stuff. And this lets me have more time for my personal brand, traveling, and self-improvement stuff I do. So not only am I doing a lot of stuff, but I'm not stressed out. I'm happy. I'm super motivated. I don't get burned out.
I mean, this is super important. I think as early as possible. Whenever you have some funds to finance this, like hire someone out. I mean, even if you don't have a lot of money, you can still outsource one of tasks. And that's what I've done. And when I redesigned my website, I didn't go to talent platform because I wanted to build a long-term relationship with my designer and developer, and that's what I've done. And I kind of founded an agency, a branding agency, so we do websites for other clients now as well. So that's kind of I'm always in it for the long term. That's what
Sure.
when I build my team, that's what I look for as well. It seems like you do kind of the same thing in that.
I mean, there's always fiber. Like you don't have to start off with a great, a
Exactly.
great,
I mean, when we
$5.
started out, I didn't have my site now. It's quite expensive. We are doing a redesign probably this summer as well. But when I started with a WordPress site. It's a Word premium theme. You can get started for $100. If you want to build your personal brand or start a blog.
That brings up a topic. Done is better than perfect.
Done is better than perfect always. Yeah.
Well, it's like for me, yeah, I could have a better site. I could have a prettier site. I could do a custom design site, but I have other elements that are more important, such as I'm trying to write the lead magnets so I could do a pop up on my blog. I'm trying to work on my autoresponder, but for me, it's a matter of just get it done. Don't worry about act. Just take massive action. Don't worry if something's perfect or not.
Yeah.
Let me give you an example. Like I want to write this ebook, and I actually finished writing this ebook 2 months ago, but it's still not live on my site. Why? That's because I was trying to figure out the whole. Have you ever made an ebook? It's really tough to make an ebook.
It is. I'm in the process right now and making like a really good opt-in offer for my audience as well, and it takes some time actually, to really
some
figure
time
it
because
out.
you got to get the design right, and then there's the font, and then there's the templates, and there's the page number. It's such a headache. So I thought to myself, you know what? What are people opting in for? They're not opting in for the freaking design. They're opting in for the information. So what I'm doing is, excuse me. So what I'm doing now is I'm just putting it on like a private page on my blog that I'm just gonna send people a link to. It's not an ebook. It's not whatever. I'm just doing that, and then I'll just get like an assistant later on to find a good person that can turn it into an ebook. But that's what I mean. Done is better than perfect.
It's a very good, great way to start. That's what I did early on as well. Just put it on a page and send people there when they opt in. It's simple. Done is better than perfect. So now that brings us actually to something else. Like you have designed your life in a very, very interesting way, and kind of we can talk about what is a lifestyle entrepreneur to you. Our mutual friend Jesse Krieger wrote a book about kind of how you can become a lifestyle entrepreneur and all this. So what does it mean to you to be one, and how have you designed your life?
So lifestyle entrepreneur, I first understood the concept like 99% of people from Tim Ferriss, you know.
Yeah.
Read Tim Ferriss, 4 Hour Work Week. Every one of us, he's our dad, basically.
Yeah.
So with that, you know, that was my whole goal and what motivated me when I first started. Like, I wasn't looking to make $1 million. I wasn't looking to be rich, not at all. I wanted to make just $40,000 and just go live in Asia or just go travel. So that's actually a reason why I was so motivated early on, because when you set your goal that low of $40,000 a year, that's not really that big of a goal.
Yeah.
It kept me motivated because I was 100% sure I could achieve it. If I set a goal of $1 million, like, I would constantly have analysis paralysis. So for me, you know, what happened was that was my goal, 40,000 a year, start traveling. But what happened was my business exploded. It grew too big, too fast, and I was kind of sad in a way, where I was in a point where I had my employees. I was in Atlanta. I had a car, you know, I had a condo and everything, and I had, you know, a beautiful girlfriend and great relationship. I was like, darn, I want to travel, but it's too late now. Like, I've settled down basically. But then stuff happened. You know, me and her broke up, and then the employees. I got rid of all my employees, and then I realized, hey, you know what? I can travel again. So I was supposed to travel for 3 months. It ended up being 3 years. So lifestyle. What does lifestyle entrepreneur mean to me? It means you develop a business to support your lifestyle, rather than, you know, you place your life and your happiness first before the business. So I did that for, you know, 3 years. I lived in either Bangkok or Vietnam, but every single month I would go to a new country in Asia. And I mean, I've traveled to other places. I've been to South America. I've been to Europe before, but Asia just feels like home to me. And what I love about Asia is, like, each country is like a completely different world, completely different culture. So what's interesting about me now is I'm actually not. I have a different philosophy of lifestyle entrepreneur that works well for me. So what happened is, I was overseas for 3 years, and I slowly started losing some motivation. And that's because by that time, you know, I made good money. I had a beautiful girlfriend. I had a lot of friends. I partied all the time, but I was still unhappy. And I couldn't, for the longest time, I couldn't figure out why. And the reason why I was so unhappy was I've always been in a constant state of mental growth, either business, self-improvement, or whatever. So living out there for so long, I just got complacent. And think about this, when you're living in Vietnam, the average guy makes $200 a month. So I didn't feel that need to just really step up my life. So I started getting a little bit bored of the lifestyle design. So what I thought to myself was I would move back to America. So I moved back to America. But what I do now is something that's a nice, interesting balance. Again, I took the idea from Tim Ferriss of mini retirements. So what I do in America is I will work I work 7 days a week. Well, no, 6 days a week, hardcore. One day I'll take completely off. I'll do that for about 5 months. 6 days a week. Work 6 days a week for 5 months. I'm completely work focused. I don't socialize. I don't really go out. I don't party. And then after 5 months, you know, I'm a human being. I'm gonna get burned out. After 5 months, what I do, I take 2-3 months off. I go travel in Asia. So that's what I'm doing right now. Like, my past 2 weeks or past 3 weeks, I went to Bali with my girlfriend, and then I went to Jakarta to do some speaking. I went to Bangkok to do some speaking. I went to Hong Kong to do some business, and now I'm here in Vietnam. So what I do is, a lot of lifestyle entrepreneurs is what they do is they are in a constant state of traveling, a constant state of living. For me, I prefer to just focus on my work, focus on my business, and then I'll just take a few months off, and I'll do that twice a year. And I actually like that and enjoy that more because I value traveling more. And for me, if you listen to my interview earlier, I'm very process, system, routine based.
Yeah.
So when you're traveling, you're in a different world. It's hard to keep to the routines. So back in America, it's like I've created my own bubble, created my own world. And then when it's time, when I'm getting burned out or it's time to go, I'll just pack my bags and go to Asia. Now, this is not the most idealistic lifestyle because I'm in Atlanta, so flying to Asia is a 24-hour flight. It's not the most ideal. But a lot about lifestyle design, happiness, and productivity comes from you follow the rules, you know yourself, and then you break the rules. So what I have now is a lifestyle designed just for me.
Yeah, it seems that's kind of what you should do as well. You found the balance that works for you, right? So it's not
Yep.
like someone is listening to this or watching this, they should not copy your lifestyle design. It's like for everyone is individual, I think, how you design your life. Maybe for some one person is to have a family and live in a city, and that's fine for them, and for another person is to travel or constant travel, right? And you found what works for you, and that's very interesting how you've done that.
Some guy I saw some guy wrote in a I described this and some guy wrote in a forum like, Charles, you could live anywhere in the world. Why would you want to live in like Bangkok? It's all smelly and hot and dirty or whatever. And my response was like, to each his own. It's like if you want to live in Africa, you want to live in Russia, you want to live in New York and spend 15,000 a month or whatever. Do what makes you happy. Like I live in my places or I travel to where I travel to for my own reasons and I enjoy it. So that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to give people the tools to enable lifestyle design and then they can create their own lifestyle. Like I don't judge others.
Exactly. I mean that's interesting as well. You could like live in LA or New York, whatever, right? You have a great business, so you can enable you to live anywhere. You can live in Stockholm. It's super expensive here, by the way, but you can, But you've chosen to like travel in Asia, live a few months in Atlanta, and you can travel anywhere you want. If you have friends, maybe
Sure.
have a party in LA, you can go there still, right? So that's
Yeah.
interesting how you've done all this actually in a few years.
Yeah. I mean, when people ask me like why Asia, to be honest, like I have a girlfriend in Vietnam.
Uh-huh.
I'm been in a monogamous relationship for a while now, and that's why I keep coming here. And what's great about this whole quote unquote lifestyle design is, let's say I didn't do affiliate marketing, I wasn't into this lifestyle design. My pool of women I could choose from is pretty much limited to Atlanta or my home country. Whereas when you can travel, you can date I can date anyone in the world for the most part or whatever. Like my pool of options like opens up a bit. So my
Yeah.
girlfriend, she is very good for me.
Yeah, it seems like it works out perfectly fine for you. And you mentioned here also an influencer for you was Tim Ferriss. It was for me as well. Like the 4 Hour Work Week, reading that was kind of an eye opener for me into lifestyle design and lifestyle entrepreneurship. So, do you have any other kind of mentors or influencers that really helped you in your journey to accomplish or get to the point where you are today?
Sure, sure. I mean, being an Asian guy, every Asian guy's role model has to be Bruce Lee. Like if you're not, if it's not Bruce Lee, I'm taking away your Asian card. So Bruce Lee, love his philosophies. Tim Ferriss, another one. Third one is Eben Pagan. So I study him a lot for business influences. So for business wise, Li Ka-shing, I mentioned earlier, the richest man in Asia. I like Jay Abraham a lot, so I study him. And there's a lot of influencers in my life where people in my network, like other guys that are my age, successful as well, where I'm influenced by just pretty much everybody. Like a guy could, I think a misunderstanding is maybe I'm only influenced or inspired by guys that are ultra successful, but that's not true. Let's say a guy, he's happy, has a great family and stuff. Like he inspires me to, have a family one day. You can take a little bit out of every single person.
Exactly. I found a lot of like not only in-person mentors, but I've read a ton of books. So what's your kind of the most influential book you read? I mean, you mentioned a lot of books throughout this interview here, but maybe if you can say like one or two that really changed your life and the direction.
Wow. I can't limit it to one or two. Can I say like 10 of them?
Okay,
So,
whatever works,
first, okay. So obviously 4 Hour Work Week. Next, How to Fail at Everything and Still Succeed. Or How to Fail at Everything and Still Win at Life by Scott Adams. I mentioned that. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. So I'm really into Stoicism,
Oh yeah,
and that
yeah.
really helped.
Yeah, I actually got
Um,
into that as well after reading Ryan Holiday's latest book, The Obstacle is the Way. He kind of based the whole book on Marcus Aurelius' theories and the Stoicism as well.
sure, I read that as well. I read that the first day it came out.
Yeah.
But that's an amazing book. Um, Ryan's an amazing writer, but I highly recommend also reading the originals, Letters to Seneca, Meditations by Marcus Aurelius, because when you get the source material, you can kind of learn it, from the original source and come up with your own
Yeah.
interpretations as well. So that's really good. For marketing, I really liked, since my job's a marketer, so I read a lot of marketing books. The Gary Halpert letters. So I highly recommend you read that. So Gary Halpert is supposedly the best copywriter in history. Now he's passed away now, but he was the best copywriter in history. He wrote a lot of sales letter, and for some unknown reason, he went to prison for over a year. So when he was in prison for a year, he wrote a series of letters to his 16-year-old son, teaching him everything he knows about marketing. So because he wanted to connect with his son, so that was really good. Think and Grow Rich for obvious reasons. My favorite productivity book of all time, Agile Results. It's better than Getting Things Done.
Oh,
So
really?
read
Okay.
Agile. It's
I gotta
better.
check it out for sure.
It's a big claim, but I think I can back it up okay. And then the last book I want to recommend that's very good, The Millionaire Fast Lane by MJ DeMarco.
Yeah.
So I mean, if you go to my website, there's a reading list at the very
I
top.
can link it up as well in the show notes of
Sure.
this. Yeah, for sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
we,
mean,
we mentioned also a lot of like the tips here where you get a lot of stuff done. Do you use any tools or resources for that, or do you just how do you structure everything?
absolutely. Actually, let me turn the light on the room. It's getting quite dark in Vietnam. There you go.
Okay, much
Okay,
better.
so I use a lot of tools. The
Yeah,
most
if you can
important
mention
tool.
a few that maybe my audience can find valuable from what we've talked about today.
Okay. Most important tool, mind mapping. So mind mapping is a way I use to brainstorm. So look up mind mapping. The tool I use is Mind Manager. It's a little bit expensive. It's like 300. I don't if you've never done it before, don't buy $300 software. There's plenty of free versions like MindMeister. So mind mapping, obviously Evernote. For my to-do list, my to-do list is before I used OmniFocus when it was just me, but now my to-do list is very team-based. So the best one I've seen is teamworkpm.com. So I've used Basecamp, I've used Asana, I've used everything. My favorite is Teamwork PM. So here's the biggest thing I could teach you guys about productivity and getting stuff done. One word, Kanban. So are you familiar with Kanban?
Not sure actually. Maybe I
Okay,
should.
okay. Yeah. So Kanban, Kanban. Like, if you implement this, it will change your life. It came from Japan, so I actually study a lot of Japanese productivity for some reason. I mean, they're productive people. So it was developed in the 1940s by an engineer at Toyota. So, Toyota has really perfected it, and lately it's been popular in the coding and software communities. So the way it works is it can be as simple or complicated as you want. It's a framework. So there are 3 columns. To do, which is your to-do list. What do you want to do? Next, in progress, work in progress. And the third column is done. So 3 columns. And then every task you do is every task you do is on a Post-it note. So let's say there's my apartment keycard. So let's say there's 3 columns. 1, 2, 3. So it starts off to do. So my to do is writing a blog post today. So that's what I have to do. So when I start working on it, I move it to in progress. You can use it Post-it notes or use the software. And when it's done, it moves to done. So it sounds super simple, but the reason why it works so well is the work in progress, you can only limit it to 1 Post-it note. So I don't multitask. I'm not working on 5 different things at once. I'm working on just one at a time. So that's how I started reading more, actually. I don't know about you, but before I would read 10 books at a time. So now I only let myself read one book at a time.
Hmm.
So one thing, it limits the work in progress, so I don't multitask. And second, I can actually visualize how much work I completed for the day.
Yeah.
So when you're going through the day, remember when I mentioned small wins equals motivation. So by the time it's 12 o'clock and I see all these post-it notes on the right side of the board, that shows how much work I accomplished.
Yeah.
So if it's 12 p.m. though, and there's nothing on the right side of the board, I didn't accomplish anything. That lets me know, yo, it's Charles. You need to step it up.
Definitely, and
So
also I think with multitasking, it's in brain rules. They say that the brain is even doesn't even function for that. You know, you're not supposed to multitask. You should focus on one task and do it, and that's kind of what you're saying here as well. So definitely,
I mean, it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done. So that's why this
yeah.
tool, even though it's so simple, it's
It's very
genius.
hard, especially today with everything social media we have our phones, we have everything that's happening around us, and we have
Yep.
this very important blog post or a product to launch, whatever it is, you know, and we have to really stay focused and get it done in a short amount of time.
Sure. Just remember, productivity is about a few core concepts. Like one, focus on work on what's most important. Prioritize your tasks. Where what's more important, getting this blog post up or booking my trip for 2 weeks from now or 2 months from now. Getting that blog post is more important. Yet we naturally do the travel thing.
Hmm.
So what's most important. Second is work without distraction. So when I work, turn off the Skype. My phone is in another room. I use a program. You can either use leech blocker or self control. I'll block Facebook. I'll block Twitter. I'll block Reddit. And then third is just I'm really routine based. Where I do the same things every day, and that's because 40% of your life is automatic. 40% of your life decisions you make every day are due to habit. So why not engineer or architect your life? So architect your day so each one is very productive. So I mean, there's so many books on productivity, but if you just
I
focus on the
think we have
gems,
covered some really great stuff here, and you gave some tips as well. Your some tools, apps you're using, and I think that can be really helpful, especially for someone getting started. You don't want to overwhelm people if they maybe never done this before. I mean, you have done it for many years, so I
yeah,
mean, everything we talked about here today is we covered a lot of stuff. So first of all, I would like to
sure,
thank you. And where can people find you if they want to find out more about your really cool blog and all this stuff you're doing?
sure. First one is easiest, charlesngo.com. Next, I have a Twitter, so I go online, Dr. Dr_NGO. And the third one is I have a Facebook fan page, facebook.com/Charles DOT
I'll
or
link it up in
Charles
the show
NGO.
notes as well.
Yeah,
So
look it
you can
up.
find everything over at navid.me/26. That's the show notes page for this episode. So any final words you want to say to my audience here before we end?
Sure. So, obviously not everyone is going to be interested in affiliate marketing, and that's fine. I don't. I encourage you to just focus on whatever you want to do. So my biggest advice to close the show is just consistency. Work at your craft every single day. Try to improve every single day, and be patient. And over time, you will be successful. Where it's impossible not to. You play chess 1,000 times. I'm not going to be a grandmaster. I'm not going to be Magnus Carlsen, but after 1,000 times, I will improve. So whatever it is you want to do, stick with it and work at it every single day. You will get better. You will get there.
Yeah, never ever give up. And this amazing final words, we can probably go on for hours. We have a very similar mindset with a lot of things. But thanks so much, Charles, for coming on my show and sharing so much valuable information.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Lindy, and thank you to your show, and thank you for everyone that has listened to this very long interview.
Yeah,
But I hope it was worth the time.